All right, well, without further ado, let's begin. And I'll start by welcoming my two guests, returning faces to the podcast. Firstly, I'll start with you, Graham. You are Senior Design and Communications Coordinator. You've had your own long journey with the organisation. Welcome back.
Lovely to be back.
And last but not least, our Community Services Manager, Daniel, who used to be in ISVA, but is now over on our side of things, on the better side of the fence, here in the community. Daniel, welcome back as well.
Thank you, George. Nice to be back.
Well, yes, I imagine so. This episode is all about On It. So what is On It?
On It is a joint harm reduction campaign which focuses on the pillars of sex, chems, HIV and consent. It's a campaign we deliver with our good friends at George House Trust. We work very much in partnership with them and use our shared knowledge, shared expertise to, I guess in a nutshell, deliver a harm reduction campaign around issues of sex, chems, HIV and consent.
So we talked a little bit during the 16th anniversary special about the origins of On It, where it sort of came from, about meeting the need that's out there. As we're turning into this sort of corner with the big number 17 looming around the bend, what does this next year look like for On It? What's changing?
So we've just recently celebrated our second anniversary with On It. So what the year ahead looks like is we've got the very first chemsex conference in Manchester happening.
I can't believe that's the first. It feels so overdue.
On It is just paving the way because that's what On It's all about. It's about having real, honest conversations that need to be had and people need to kind of sit up, listen, hear about, because this is something that will never go away unless we talk around it.
Yeah.
And raise awareness,
What does it mean to sort of talk to this community? What's so important about finding the right language and tone to meet this audience? Because there's a lot of misunderstanding about chems and about how chemsex works. How does On It sort of work to deal with that?
The tone of language is key, I think, to the tone of this campaign.
Yeah.
We were very keen from the beginning that this wouldn't be a preachy campaign.
Yes.
We certainly wouldn't be telling people what they can and can't do. That's not our place to do that.
No.
So it's about giving information for people to make their own decisions, because there's nothing worse than people in what can look sometimes like clinical organisations wagging the finger and saying, you mustn't do this, you can't do that, this is really dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's about the tone of language kind of harks back a little to the HIV prevention campaigns of the 80s and 90s, which were very successful, very groundbreaking, and very much took that course of offering information for you to make your own decision. And I think the both organisations kind of thought that's kind of missing in health promotion at the moment.
Yeah, it's sort of revisiting, because obviously George House Trust has just come into celebrating its own 40th anniversary. So we're very much jumping back to the origins of how important this work was and kind of bringing that forward to this new audience. Does it feel really important that On It's, of course, celebrating its own second anniversary, but as we're looking at the year of consent and how we're talking about the fact that, chemsex is happening, it's out there, there's no point trying to knock people on the head for doing it. Is it important that we talk from a place of non-judgment to understand that conversations of consent can come into chemsex?
Yeah, of course, because as with anything, whether you are on chems, not on chems, under the influence of alcohol, you should always be getting consent. Yeah. Consent is sexy. Yeah. And also consent can be withdrawn at any time. Yeah. It is a simple kind of yes or no. And when someone says yes, that is the most sexiest thing. And when someone says no, that's the powerful message that you need to hear. Yeah. Just stop, take a breather, get an understanding. Yeah. But when you hear the word no, and sometimes it's not even the verbalization of it. It's about being aware of the situation.
That's it. Reading a moment, certainly. I think it's really important as well that there are so many assumptions made from other organizations about, from a legal definition, sex under the influence of anything can't be consensual. So saying that, well, it happens, consent needs to exist within this. How do those conversations look?
I think Daniel's right in terms of the whole consent message. When people think of consent messaging, it's the overriding kind of phrase is no means no, which is great and it's empowering. But we kind of thought, well, actually, but yes means yes, is perhaps arguably even more empowering, because it leads you into places that you will find joy and pleasure. And it's not so much about taking away aspects of your sex life. It's about enhancing them.
Yeah.
So yeah, no means no. Of course it does. We know that. But yes, absolutely means yes, and it can take us to some amazing places.
Yeah. Are there any kind of conversations around this that through the On It campaign, you found yourself reaching communities that we might not have otherwise heard from? Has it sort of brought you into new spaces as part of this?
I think because there are the two organisations, George House Trust and We Are Survivors, delivering this campaign, what that's done in effect has doubled the reach of the campaign.
Yeah.
So we're able to reach, obviously when George House Trust share the messages, they can reach out to their client base, if
Their
you
own
like.
audiences, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of doubled the audience that we can reach.
Yeah.
And as organisations, we're finding increasingly that issues around sex, chems, HIV and consent are becoming more and more a part of our day-to-day work.
Yeah. So has there been a shift between the kind of communities that we've seen engaging in chemsex and having these conversations over the past year?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, chemsex is not limited to the gay and bisexual men. You
Yeah.
know, men who have sex with men partake.
Yeah, sure.
There's been more of an increase in non-binary and trans communities because we know at this moment in time the trans community is the political football.
Yeah.
You know, they get kicked around, they get banded. But in the chems world,
Yeah.
it's the one thing that is really kind of powerful is there is no judgment, there is
Yeah.
no bias.
Yeah.
Come along, consent to taking chems, consent to the sex,
Yeah.
and you'll have such a powerful chemsex party.
Yeah.
You know,
the
it's
categories
fun.
and barriers break down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, obviously, the two organisations, George House Trust and We Are Survivors, support people that constantly face stigma,
Yeah.
barriers,
Yeah.
shame, guilt. You put in that in the chems world as well. All of that's reduced, but you put people who are either a survivor, someone living with HIV,
Yeah.
who partakes in chem. It's the shun from the communities, that judgment,
Yeah.
which, you know, there is none of that. And I think it's really crucial that it's okay to be who you are, be
Yeah.
authentic, you know, because it's easy to go down a road
Yeah.
of chems, but it's also knowing your limits as well.
Sure.
Looking after yourself, knowing when it's impacting your daily life.
Yeah, healthy relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there something about this? Is it about that power of when I go in and when I don't? About this ability to withdraw consent and sign up for these experiences? Do you think that might appeal to survivors? Are you finding a lot of survivors within these communities?
Yeah, I think just to kind of quickly touch and absolutely to answer your question, but also to kind of go back to the issue of trans people
Sure.
finding
Yeah.
belonging and within the chemsex scene.
Yeah.
That's something that we need to have serious conversations with as a society, because trans people shouldn't feel the need to be accepted and desired within just a chemsex environment.
Yeah.
So it absolutely throws a light on the issues that trans people place
Yeah.
in society in general. So we have to kind of have some serious conversations about, you don't have to find your people that desire you and love you in that
substances
field.
don't have to be a part of that.
Absolutely,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
certainly. It shouldn't have to be a condition for entry. It should be something that is on top of what you can already enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be a difficult and continued conversation as we continue to see throughout the next year about what spaces open to trans people and what spaces close. And it's really important. Of course, our own space has always tried to be open. And so seeing a lot of doors shutting at the moment, it's a scary and concerning time. So turning back the clock 3 years ago to the Sex, Chems, HIV and Consent report that our very own Dr. Michael Atkins, that being the secret identity of Cheddar Gorgeous, as we addressed it during our 16th birthday episode, wrote and published on our behalf. Looking at that report now, are many of its findings and lessons still relevant to the scene as it is today?
Yeah. There's still conversations, there's still issues around people who have been on the scene, who are currently in the scene, the sober sex, finding partners on it, trying to come away from it.
Yeah.
You know, the acceptance, we saw kind of that, especially one of our other ambassadors for the organisation, Richard Gadd,
Yeah.
you know, one of the episodes in Baby Reindeer
Directly, yeah.
featured around that aspect. No spoilers.
Yeah.
People out there still may not have seen it. I doubt it. It was a groundbreaking show.
Yeah, if you missed it, it's your fault, but we won't spoil it for you.
The thing with the chemsex scene is it's evolving in terms of language,
Yes.
but it's still the same blueprint,
Yeah.
you know, around that And that's what chemsex is. It's for people who are on chems and having sex.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
There you go.
You know,
On the tin.
there are a lot of people out there trying to change the dynamics of it, but the late David Stewart, who coined the term chemsex,
Yeah.
that's where it evolved from.
Yeah,
Because
and-
people were saying, we're taking chems, we're having sex.
Done.
Chemsex, boom.
One of the strengths of Michael's report as well was
Yeah.
it had lots of lived experience and quotes from people who are part of the chemsex scene. And that's been another core output of the On It campaign, is that we are absolutely adamant that lived experience should be at the heart of our messaging, any events that we put on. We can't speak on behalf of people who have these experiences. They're more than capable and more than happy in a lot of cases to speak for themselves.
People are willing to talk. Yeah, no, certainly. And creating a vessel to sort of listen without judgment, I think, is really crucial too. I think there are too many organizations that may feel like they can speak on this topic and know everything there is to say. But unless they're letting survivors talk, or letting chemsex users talk, or letting their service users talk, whoever they are, you know, it's not an accurate voice.
And that's something that both organisations, George House Trust and We Are Survivors, pride themselves on. I mean, you know, the people that we work with and the people that we help drive our services and drive our messaging. That's why, you know, we're so successful in delivering messages, because we put lived experience at the heart of everything.
Yeah, it's not an afterthought. Yeah, certainly. And I think it's really important to not create a hierarchy. We talked earlier about that idea, that sort of language of judgment. If you basically talk down to people and say, why are you doing this? Or you shouldn't be doing this. Why would you not lift people up to a stage and say, well, this is what's actually going on, right? This is what it's about. Let's talk about it. You just want a conversation. I think that's really been key throughout, is you're looking for a conversation. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We don't bring the scare element.
No.
It's literally, if something goes wrong, here's where to turn to.
Yeah.
You know, communication is always key.
Yeah, it's a lighthouse.
Go out, have fun, get on it.
Yeah.
You know, but just know your limits.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. We won't sell you anything, but, you know, we can sell you that slogan.
Yeah.
So as part of that, is there anything you want to sort of talk about, looking back at our 16th year, that you're really proud of, that you've achieved with On It this year?
Yeah, well, this year it was our second year marching in Manchester Pride, and we were able to double the amount of people who marched with us.
We have to double it every year now.
Well, hopefully, and I'm sure Manchester Pride will go ahead this year, that we'll increase our presence even more. But the best thing about that was seeing the engagement, having the messages so prominently displayed in the parade, and marching beside our friends at George House Trust. Was a real, for me certainly, it was a real moment of pride. And
well, there you go.
And it's a very tricky message to portray at a family event such as Manchester Pride.
Yeah,
so
there's an
we
interesting
had to be very
dynamic there.
careful, but it was so great to see this is coming from the design part of to see our branding out there, and you know, and people kind of questioning, going, what's this? Yes means yes, that's interesting. So it opened up conversations. So hopefully this year we can increase that presence even more.
No, and it was also another incredible opportunity where we benefited from volunteers in our community, being there, being part of those numbers, but also quite literally, we have a builder's yard, right? We run it every single week. It's a Lego group, but builder's yard, why not? Let's build the banners for Pride. Let's get all the signs built. They bloody did.
It was a community effort. It was an amazing experience for me, for sure.
No, it's certainly something to be proud of.
Yeah.
And, you know, with this upcoming conference as well, the fact that it is the first chemsex conference in Manchester, are there things you've learned from other chemsex opportunities and events that you feel like we can get right and this is the right place for this?
Well,
I know that's a difficult
not
question.
to call out other. Let's do general conferences.
Yeah, brilliant.
So
that feels more polite.
On It conference is not going to be a death by PowerPoint.
It's a reaction, isn't it, to other conferences?
We are not there to kind of fill people's head with statistics, with data and all of that. We just want conversations. We're prepared, like We Are Survivors. We get down in the mud with you. We get there when it's tricky. Let's bring these conversations to the people, by the people, and for the people. That was really American, I know.
And leave your PowerPoint presentation in the office.
There you go. I'm feeling patriotic, and I feel like I hate PowerPoints now, so I'm fine. I'm on board.
Yeah.
But and the venue for it as well, particularly, feels very appropriate.
We were very lucky. I mean, as users, I guess, of the gay village, we were aware that the Eagle, Manchester, is very aware and very on top of issues of consent.
Yeah.
If you wander around the venue, you'll see notices and posters.
Yeah, it's quite visible.
Yeah, saying, you know, seek consent. Don't assume because this is a fetish night or a club night that you have permission.
Yep.
You don't have permission.
Yeah.
So that was a real... What's the opposite of a red flag? A green flag.
A green flag.
For us to go, these guys know what we're trying to do. So we asked, and they got back immediately and said, yeah, we'd love to. So, and to have a conference in a can I say, is it a sex venue? In a gay venue anyway.
In a gay sex venue.
In a sexy venue.
Yeah, a sexy venue. We'll put a Y on the end.
Yeah,
Yep.
and not in a conference room with an overhead
it sets
projector.
the tone, right? It's the down in the mud we're talking about. It's eye to eye, and I think it's really, really.
So I think to
respectful.
start on that level, with the venue being so unique, we can only fly. Hopefully,
can only build from that point.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. What is next for On It? What's coming in this next year?
I think for us, it's about continuing to take the messages of the campaign to places that are appropriate, and out of boardrooms, out of conference rooms, and into more exciting and, you know, as we said, sexy places. So
we need to take them to sexy
we're
places.
looking in hopefully in the spring, certainly into the summer, we'll be launching a club night with our friends at Dandy.
Oh, spot on.
So they'll be helping us to host fundraising events for On It. Hopefully we'll pilot it in the spring, summer, and if it goes well, we'll continue to do that. It's an opportunity for us to get the community involved, to get messages out in places where they will be relevant and understood, and also to get a little bit of entertainment and fun and getting that message across in an engaging way.
No, and certainly it's the opposite of the death by PowerPoint. It's about getting that message out there in the places where it needs to be and remind everyone that this is all about having fun in a safe way at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it certainly pairs well about this idea of spreading the message out there with our current plans to continue expanding our community offerings in further venues outside of Manchester into Greater Manchester at 5 new venues in this year. Where else are we looking for with On It? Because I've heard the L word come around. I've heard that our next conquest is Manchester's great rival, Liverpool.
Ultimately, it's the world, but...
Well, we're On It Paris and We Are Survivors Australia startup.
Yeah.
We'll be there for that. But starting with Liverpool, what are we looking at?
So we are teaming up with Access in Liverpool, the
Yes.
sexual health service, to bring On It to Liverpool. To have, again, the conversations around what the chemsex scene looks like.
Yeah, certainly.
But in true On It fashion, it's okay to be on it.
Yeah.
Here's where to kind of turn to.
Yeah.
You know, it's really kind of crucial that we engage the community. We put our messaging out within the scene, within the bars, that it's okay for people to be on it.
Yeah.
And not worry, you know, because there should be no judgment.
No.
And hopefully one day it might be Liverpool v Manchester for the drag queens of On It, you know.
Sign up. Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know who I'd go for. There's a lot of good drag queens in both places.
The feathers will fly.
Oh, that's a hard one.
I mean, it's a bit kind of like Danny Beard and Cheddar Gorgeous yet again.
Yeah.
Who takes the crown?
Yeah.
Times 2.
Times 2. No, the all-important rematch. Well, I certainly look forward to that. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
It's time for our services spotlight, but I'd like to talk a little bit about our spoke sites. Speaking out, We Are Survivors. Now, We Are Survivors is speaking out everywhere we can. We're trying to get out there in the community. Daniel, what does that look like?
So we partner up with fellow third sector organisations. That it's crucial because our aim is that no survivor is 40 minutes away from support.
Yeah.
So no, it's that aim to ensure that survivors who are local, who may find accessibility issues about getting public transport, that it's within their borough.
Yeah.
So at the present, the speaking out sites, we've got Stockport, Tameside, Rochdale, Wigan and Trafford.
Yeah.
With more hopefully coming by the end of the year. So
fantastic.
Do check back in.
Yeah, stay tuned with that. No, absolutely. And it's really important. These organizations as well that we're working with have services of their own. A lot of their service users will find our own services useful. It's not just community out there. It's access to ISVA, it's access to therapy. So it really is bringing something a little bit closer to your doorstep. And that important part of not leaving people behind means finding a new place where they can come into that organization for the first time. I know anecdotally, Some of my survivors I've been working with have already used the organizations that we are connecting up to. They're all in convenient locations, they're accessible spaces. So having that bridge sends that message out that this is not just for Mancunians, this is for all survivors. I think that's really important. Oh, fantastic. So you have to stay tuned. You'll find out more. And if you want to find out any more information about what's currently available in your community, do look in the description. As an ongoing celebration of our Wish You Knew project, I will be reading excerpts from these works by our survivors that they have produced. I Wish You Knew is a writing project that you could get involved with right now if you would like to. It's really that simple. What do you wish others knew? How do you want to sort of connect on that topic? We've had raps written, we've had video recordings, audio recordings, we've had songs, poems, letters, stories like this. I'm going to read one to you now. Of course, the topic within these collective stories is very sensitive, as I imagine anything is that we discuss here, but please, use your own discretion. Hopefully you'll stay with us because all these works are beautiful. I wish you knew. I wish you knew that what happened to me wasn't just something that happened back then. It shaped every part of my life since. It's changed the way I see myself, how I fit in the world, and the very core of my identity. My body has become both the gatekeeper to belonging and the center of my shame. The place where I was hurt is now where I question every day if I'm enough. I struggle daily with low self-worth. There's a constant fear that deep down I'll never be enough as a man, as a partner, or just as a person. I wish you knew how the abuse has left me in a crisis of masculinity, the sense of being a real man, of belonging among other men, of feeling normal in my own body, has always felt out of reach. So much of who I think I am is wrapped in shame, anger, and the pain of comparison. It isn't just my old memories. It's with me every day, in insecurity, anxiety, relationships, my sex life, how I look at myself in the mirror, even how I deal with joy and success. The abuse echoes in all those places, making even simple parts of life feel fraught. I wish you knew how isolating it is, the way men are taught not to talk, not to show weakness, and the way trauma creates secrets that choke hope. I wish you knew I'm not just a statistic or a story. I'm a person who carries this every day. But I also wish you knew that speaking, even in anonymity, is a step toward healing. That when men are believed, heard, and seen, it can make a difference. Not just for us, but for everyone who comes after. Thank you for listening. Now, as we come towards the end of this episode, I want to thank everyone who has been listening. It's always a pleasure to host these episodes, and it's always a pleasure to meet and see and talk to the lovely guests who make it possible. So thank you both, gentlemen. For those of you who are listening right now, this has been the Beyond the Silence podcast. If you'd like to get involved, you want to get your own voice heard, there is always the hashtag Break the Silence on social media. You can also find us on any good social media and some of the bad ones at This Is Survivors. If you'd like to speak to our service, you can of course call our helpline. You can find information on our website. But we also have the support@wearesurvivors.org.uk email address, which is available at your leisure also. For those of you who have been listening today, perhaps as well survivors and supporters, but those of you who are currently on the scene, so to speak, gents, what would you say to them?
Visit the website. Come to www.onit.org.uk. Help us reduce stigma. Take the knowledge and use it in whatever way works best for you.
No, simple as. What about yourself, Daniel?
Just knowing it's okay. Go out and enjoy the scene. And as always, if something goes wrong, don't hesitate to reach out because it's not your fault. You will be believed and there's an understanding.
Yeah.
Just look after yourself and enjoy life.
Brilliant. And the service is a living memory. If the information on it becomes out of date, if you know something that we don't, add your voice to it. Well, from all of us here and from myself, from our safe space to yours, thank you for listening.